This sermon where I'm about to read to you is taken from www.joyofsatan.org, which is written by High Priestess Maxine. The Temple of Solomon. Now, for those of you who think modern Freemasonry is of Satan, think again. Modern Freemasonry, which was originally a Gentile order, has been infiltrated and taken over by Jews. Here's an expert from the book Rule by Secrecy by Jim Mars, copyright to 2000, pages 58 and 59. This is secretive banking dynasty was begun by Meyer Amschel Bauer, a German Jew born on February 23, 1744, in Frankfurt. Young Meyer studied to become a rabbi. He was particularly schooled in Hashkalah, a blending of religion, Hebrew law, and reason. The death of his parents forced Meyer to leave rabbinical school and become an apprentice at a banking house. Quickly learning the trade, he became court financial agent William IX, royal administrator of the Hesse Castle region, and a prominent Freemason. He integrated himself to William, who was only 1 year older than himself, by joining his interest in Freemasonry and antiquities. Meyer would search out ancient coins and sell them to his benefactor at greatly reduced prices. Considering his rabbinical training, coupled with his serious research for antiquities, he surely developed a deep understanding of the ancient mysteries, particularly those of the Jewish Kabbalah. It was during this same period that the metaphysics of the Kabbalah began to fuse with the traditions of Freemasonry. A Jew infiltrate every source of genital power they can. From the inside, they either gain total control or they seek to rot it out and destroy it through corruption. Modern Freemasonry is now geared to the rebuilding of the Temple of Solomon. Anyone who knows about the biblical construction of this edifice knows our demons, namely Osmedius, were viciously abused and coerced into constructing it against their will by the Jew Solomon aka Shlomo. As quoted from Legends of the Jews by Lewis Ginsberg, Asmodeus was in chains. As most of you already know, the Gothic demons, gods of the Gentiles, were bound and degraded for centuries. Asmodeus explained much to me and answered most of my questions. A Jewish Temple of Solomon is an allegory and the underlying theme of the Judeo-Christian Bible. The entire Bible is a subliminal tool using the directed psychic power of the masses and reinforced with occult power and magic. It goes like this: Solomon had unimaginable vast wealth. The Temple of Solomon symbolizes the Jewish people, Israel as a whole. 1 Kings 4:1. So King Solomon was king over all Israel. 20. Judah and Israel were many as the sand which is by the seas, multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. 21. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of Philistines and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life. 22. And Solomon's provision for 1 day was 30 measures of fine flour and 60 measures of meal. 23. 10 fat oxen and 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 sheep, beside harts and roebucks and fallow deer and fatted fowl. 24. For he had domination over all the region on this side the river from Tipsah even the Azah, over all the kings of this side the river, and he had peace on all sides round about him. 25. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. 26. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. 27. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon and for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month, they lacked nothing. 28. Barley also and straw for the horses and dromedaries brought they unto the place where officers were every man according to his charge. 29. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. 30. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. 31. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Chalcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations around about. 32. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. 33. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. 34. And there came all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. 1 Kings 10:21. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold, none were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish, with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. 23. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. 24. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. 25. And he brought every man his present, vessel of silver and vessel of gold, and garments and armor and spices, horses and mules, arrayed year by year. 26. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots, and with the king of Jerusalem. Solomon also had several hundred wives, and an overabundance of everything else. Okay, now what becomes of the Gentiles? Read on. 1 Kings 9:20. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel. 21. Their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able utterly to destroy. Upon this did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day. 22. But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen. The Gentiles who were not utterly destroyed by the children of Israel were made into slaves. Get it? The Gentile gods enslaved by the Jews and viciously abused, following with a mass murder and enslavement of the remaining Gentile people. Osmodius explained to me that the Temple of Solomon is the empire of the Jews. The Nazarene is another allegory where the 12 apostles represent the 12 tribes of Israel, and he unites them. The whole damned Bible is nothing more than a powerful subliminal working with an allegory where the Jews create their own fictitious history, stolen from Gentile legends and twisted, usurp all of the knowledge. Solomon asks the Jewish God for wisdom, as knowledge is the key to all things, from the Gentiles who were mass murdered and tortured to death as witches and so forth, those who had occult knowledge. Remaining Gentiles are then enslaved at the hands of the Jews, who control all of the wealth and the power. The biblical scripture say it all. The Nazarene is also said to be a direct descendant of Solomon. The depth of the entire Christian program is one of death and owning. Adam and Eve sinned, so humanity must pay. This is just one of numerous examples. Everyone's got to be sorry and pay up. So there's the subliminal on death and owning. Everyone's got to be sorry. This subliminal trash is drummed into the minds of Gentiles from day one. The power of the united thought of a number of people is always far more than the sum of their separate thoughts. It would be more nearly represented by their product, the astral body, and other phenomena by Lieutenant Colonel Arthur E. Powell, copyright 1927. 666 is the Kabbalistic square of the sun. 666 is the all-important soul chakra. The true meaning of the Temple of Solomon is the Temple of the Sun. Please note, the true meaning of the Temple of Sun is spiritual. The Jews completely corrupted this. Sol, Om, and On are all words of the sun. Sol is the Latin word for the sun and is close to English word soul. Om is a name given by the Hindus to the spiritual sun, and On is an Egyptian word for sun. The symbolism of the Temple of Solomon was stolen by the Jews and corrupted into a fictitious character, as with the fictitious Nazarene and nearly everything in the Judeo-Christian Bible. Please know the true meaning of the Temple of the Sun is spiritual. This symbolizes the perfected soul where the rays from the solar 666 chakra, which is the center of the soul and circulates spiritual energy, radiates into 8 separate rays. The shining soul is symbolized by the sun. 8 is the number of asteroid. This is also the New Jerusalem. The name of Jerusalem has also been stolen and corrupted into a city in Israel. Jerusalem is a concept. Hail Satan.